It is the newest edition of Mini Chirps, and the Mac attack is back. Matt McLeod, forward from the Cyclones from last year, told me to say it. That's why we're both laughing. But Macker, wait, I put you on the spotlight like that. But Macker, great to hear from you. Great to see you again. It's been so many months, and obviously the fans haven't had a chance to see you. So let's just catch up. What is it now? Almost 5 months since you've been in Cincinnati. What have you been up to, I guess, this summer?
Yeah, no, it's been a fun summer. Definitely missing Cincy a bit and itching to get back. But no, it's been a good summer, having the whole family home, having the brothers home. We've just been, training every day, skating at the rink. And, got to go on a couple nice trips. Was down in Nashville for my good buddy's bachelor party, so that was a pretty good time. It was my first time there. And then also got out west to Banff National Park and the Calgary Stampede for a week or so that was a pretty good highlight of my summer. And then just been back hanging out at the cottage. Been up to our boy Cairnsey's cottage a few times. He's got a great spot there. And then just taking it easy and golfing, having some fun, just and also obviously training hard, getting ready for the season.
I'm curious, we're talking about this summer, and I guess for us, obviously the Cyclones season ending in early May, but I think you were still probably keeping a lot of your eye on hockey for the next month. It had to be a pretty cool experience. Ryan McLeod, one of your two brothers, of course, and to be 22 years old playing in the Western Conference Finals, that's pretty neat. So what was that experience like? I have to imagine you, and I know I met your dad and your mom. I think the whole family, maybe even Mikey as well, getting a chance to go and see a couple of Stanley Cup playoff games.
Yeah, that was it was pretty spectacular. Honestly, so proud of him. It was amazing to see. I actually got out there for the Battle of Alberta for the Calgary series, so that was something to see. I ended up seeing, I think, the first three games of that series. So went for two in Calgary at the Saddle Dome. Pretty crazy environment there, and then coming back to Edmonton, I hadn't been to a game in Edmonton yet, and that new barn there is absolutely incredible, and the fans just kind of blow it out of the water like anywhere else I've ever been. So, and just seeing him play in that environment, and just playing in such high stakes games, it was really cool to see, and it was awesome just getting to be a fan after playing all season, just getting to be a fan and like hanging out with the other families and the other people in the family suite. It was a ton of fun, and like just getting to enjoy that with my parents and being there for them. It was really special.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I know he had 3 goals in the playoffs. I think 2 of them were against Colorado in the conference finals, were they not?
Yeah, he had a really good one against I think that was Colorado. Yeah, he had a nice end-to-end rush there, which
Yeah.
really fired at me and Mike. You were sitting in the stands there for that one, so we were kind of going crazy. I mean, yeah, he played awesome, and I think he's waiting on a contract now, so hopefully they get him signed pretty soon, and he can be off to the races this year. But yeah, just super fired up for him, and now he's gonna have a great year this year.
I want this conversation to be about you, but I'll ask one more thing because I think it's really neat. Ryan's there again, 4 wins away from going to the Stanley Cup finals. And you mentioned the Battle of Alberta, some games you got to be there for. I don't think one of the games you were there for was the clincher with McDavid in overtime. But just what have you ever asked him? Like, I think I could be wrong. I think you either played with or against Connor McDavid in junior or when you were a kid, maybe. But
Yeah.
I mean, have you asked him, like, what is it like to play with a guy like McDavid and Draisaitl and see some of the greatest players, in this generation of hockey?
Yeah, no, actually, I played with Connor for a couple years back on the Marlies, like back in minor hockey. So I know him a little bit, and so just getting to see them like in person though, like it's really special, and you get to like kind of watch those guys, and kind of you're like thinking like, oh wow, I could like bring that into my game, or like try and like take one or two pieces of what those guys are doing, and like try and add something to that this summer to my game. So, and I know I've asked Ryan, like Ryan, I think Draisaitl's like worked with him a few times, like on kind of like shooting and like where to put his stick. And Ryan just said like it's amazing how this guy can just get off shots from anywhere. And then obviously, watching McDavid every day, the guy can fly around the rink and has the puck on a string the whole game. So it's got to be pretty cool for him. And I know he really enjoys it.
You talk about McDavid flying around the rink. I don't think that's anything that's foreign to you. I wanted to ask, you mentioned Ryan's end-to-end goal. Which one was cooler, his or yours against Allen in overtime? That's like my favorite call of last season.
Oh yeah, no, that was a pretty special one for me. But I think his might have been a little bit higher stakes right now. So we'll have to give it to him. Maybe later on in my career, I can have one of those in the Stanley Cup playoffs, game 6. But yeah, we'll give it to him. But I know maybe I was going a bit faster. I don't want to say anything, but
Yeah,
maybe.
no. May or may not be fastest guy in the ECHL. You know what's cool is you talked about your two brothers being in the NHL, but when you mentioned your career and later on, like you took one step closer to that goal this past season. You had an excellent year in Cincinnati and then were rewarded around the midway point of the season with a call up to Bakersfield, which is Edmonton's AHL affiliate. So, Macker, as we kind of now dive in back to you and the great season you had, how would you, I guess, dissect your play? Because, I was looking at the stats and I said this to you before we started recording, like this will be, now you're going into your third ECHL season, second with the Cyclones. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like hard or impossible to even compare your first ECHL season where you were a member of Brampton to having a, 19 goal, 40-point campaign in Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, I think my first year, I was just kind of trying to come in and feel it out and kind of be kind of play the rookie role and kind of I was kind of like the 10th forward all season in and out of the lineup. So I kind of came into this season feeling like I had really evolved my game over like the COVID period of just training and getting better and working on what I had to work on, the holes in my game. And I came into last season just feeling like I had something to prove and that I really felt like I could be a dominant player in this league. And so ended up having a good start to the season, got put on a really good line with a couple good players, and it just started clicking. And I got to use my speed a lot this year. I mean, like Painter let me fly when I could. I think our system really helped me where he really wanted everyone to blow the zone and a lot about transition games. So I think that really helped me just getting the puck more in the neutral zone with speed and be able to make plays. And I think just once I got my confidence, I kind of kept it up, and then had that call up to Bakersfield in January, which was nice, and really felt like coming back from that I could play at the next level. So I wanted to keep that momentum going and keep up that confidence. I think I had a really nice second half of the year, and it, transitioned to playoffs for sure.
Yeah, we saw that the OT goal that we're talking about, the end-to-end, that was in the second half of the year in February against Allen. Macker, I hope next year when I'm doing these interviews that COVID is like not even a part of the discussion. It's still hard to keep it out though this summer because you even mentioned all the training you did during the pandemic. And that's the thing. When you played for Brampton, that was 2 years ago. You did not play during the 2020-21 season. And there's so much negativity that's associated with that year for a lot of guys for not playing. But you kind of said it yourself. I mean, it seems like you got so much better when you weren't playing hockey, as weird as that sounds. And of course, you were sure getting on the ice as much as you could, wherever you could find ice. But I mean, is that a fair assessment? Like, how much better do you think you got by having that year off to prepare?
Yeah, I think I'd been playing kind of like the same game for a few years, through college and like in junior. And then I kind of had an opportunity to kind of step back and kind of look at, what is my game and like what are the holes, and then kind of I had so much time, and we had ice kind of every day. We were really lucky through the pandemic that we had ice at our gym, so I was able to train every day and kind of work on those things. And I kind of was able to change my mindset a bit and feel like in my mind that I was like could be this different player. And so just like combine that with what I've been doing on the ice, and then the mental aspect, I think I just came into the last season with a different mindset, and it just kind of translated to the ice.
You talked about Bakersfield, and let's kind of correlate that to mindset. So I think that call up is such a confidence boost, right? Because for somebody like you, first off, that was your first call up where you played in the AHL. So it's like, I think there's this sense of, okay, it's great to get the results. It's great to see the stats, but sometimes when somebody else is rewarding me in the sense of a team from outside the organization saying, yeah, we want to bring you up, like that, I guess produces results in a way, if I'm saying that right. Like you see the results, they're there, but now that others are recognizing it too.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a nice validation that I was doing something right, and someone saw something that they thought they could help their team. And being up there, you're one step away from the NHL. Guys are fighting to be in the NHL, the Mecca of our sport, right? So every day you're kind of seeing how how these top prospects are training, and you want to emulate that in your game. You want to be in the gym every day, doing what they're doing. So it kind of just added that extra bit of motivation. So I can do this. Like I can play at the next level, and then coming back, it's like I want to get back to the next level like as soon as possible. So I got to keep proving myself down here.
Well, what's awesome about you too is that you recognize that that's what you want to do, but you don't like if you're in Cincinnati, your head's not in the AHL. And I think that's something that, and I've talked with Coach Payne, those are things that don't always work out that way, because there are guys who, they struggle when they get called up and then maybe sent back down. Was not the case for you. So going into Cincinnati this year, at least that's where you're expected to start this season. How do you kind of look at things over the course of the offseason? You seem like you've been kind of keeping your eye on the news and seeing what Coach Payne has done. There's a couple new pieces. There's a couple guys like an Arvin Otwall who had been gone for a couple of years that is now coming back. I think on paper, this team looks better than what they did a year before. Curious to get your take.
Yeah, no, I've seen our signings. I'm super excited. It seems like we're gonna have a lot of skill this year, a lot of speed. A lot of the guys are from Toronto, the Toronto area. I had Lee Lapide, I saw is now a member of the Cyclones, which is awesome. Play with Lee. Canisius, fired up to have him. He's a great kid and a great player. So, yeah, no, it seems like we're gonna have a really skilled team and really competitive. And I think we could, compete for the Kelly Cup this year. And so I'm just looking to come in and add to that and, be a dominant player in this league this year, prove that I can also play at the next level.
We talked to Lee, I guess now it would have been a month ago. It feels like it's been forever ago, but I remember asking him about you, and he said, yeah, Macker, great guy, what I would do to have his skating legs. So he's another one of those that recognize that. Macker, talking about this specific summer, and I know you mentioned training, instead of being vague, maybe to get a little bit more specific, I mean, you look at your season last year, 19 goals, 40 points in less than 60 games with the Cyclones, the 3-game call up to Bakersfield, as we mentioned. You talk about being an elite player. Is that an elite goal scorer? Is it an elite playmaker? Is it an all situational kind of player? Obviously, you have the speed to get up and down all 200 feet, but is there anything specific when it comes to maybe goals that you have for this coming season?
Yeah, I think for me, I think I showed that I can play with speed. And now it's kind of showing the other side of my game, I think, at the next level, the details. So what I've been working on more this summer is, being more deceptive, getting into the right spots in the offensive zone, stopping my feet, slowing my feet down, and kind of finding quiet areas. I was working on that a lot this past year. And I think this summer I've just been trying to build off that. We actually, my dad's been a huge proponent of this. He actually got on the ice with me and my brothers this summer. We had a little X's and O's session with him. So we're working on our cycles down low and where to be in the offensive zone. So I'm hoping that this kind of work, just trying to find the soft areas and kind of the slower things in the game are what I've been trying to work on this summer. So I'm hoping that that can really add to my toolbox this year.
It's funny. I remember when we talked last year, quiet areas. You used that term last season in one of our countless interviews to describe where you were looking to kind of evolve your game and sort of find in your game. And I hear you saying slowing your feet down. Is this almost a less is more thing? Like fans, when they saw you last year, you were like the human version of like the Flash on skates. But is it fair to say that in some way, when you talk about slowing your feet down, like less is more, like, hey, there may be times where I'm not just going out there going 150% on my speed, but as a result of that, I'm slowing down, thinking the game more and creating more opportunities for myself?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the speed can be a blessing and a curse. It can get me kind of in the wrong spot sometimes. So and kind of get me out of position. So been really working on kind of using the speed when you have to, use it as you have to, right? So that's been really important for me this summer, and just hoping to translate it to my game this year.
All right, last thing I'll ask before we let you get going here, because I'm sure maybe your dad has another X's and O's session planned for the afternoon. But, I know you come from a hockey family. I'm actually sitting in the room we did our podcast in together, and we talked a lot about that, being one of 3 brothers and living that hockey life. But then everybody goes on their own separate journey. And in your case, you stopped in Cincinnati, a place that you decided to re-sign with. So kind of a twofold question here for you, Macker, as we get to the end of this conversation. One, what led you to re-signing to the Cyclones? This isn't the NHL. There are no multi-year contracts. You had a great season and probably had a lot of teams that would have happily taken you. So one, why choosing to come back to Cincinnati? And two, what about this city made last year so special?
Yeah, I mean, it's the city of dreams. Like, I had so much fun in Cincy last year. I came from, a team that didn't get a lot of fans and didn't have a lot of support to a team that seemed to have like the best support that you could ask for. I mean, playing in the Heritage Bank, Saturday nights and having a packed barn of 10,000 people, it's absolutely special. When a huge goal goes off and the fans go crazy, like you can't beat that. Or when someone sparks up a big fight and gets the boys going, the crowd's going crazy. I mean, there's nothing better to do. And even like say on like a 3-on-3, you're playing your third game in a weekend. The fans in Cincy are able to, get you excited to play the game and, get you up for the third game. So I mean, and then, I know a lot of the guys were coming back. So a lot of my close friends are there still. So excited to see those guys and obviously have a really good relationship with the coaching staff and, they believe in me. So it was pretty much a really easy decision. And I'm just, so excited to be back and have another shot at the Kelly Cup this year with the boys.
You talk about those moments and it's like those goosebump moments and you're one of the guys that creates them. Again, that OT goal, I remember seeing you the next day and you told me, you're like, man, that was a heck of a call. It's like, thank you. That felt awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening back to it before this interview. I was like, man, that was a good one. It was such a cool goal too.
Yeah, you killed it, man. You killed it.
Yeah, I needed that.
It was all you. It was all you.
That's really what I wanted. I wanted to kind of end this interview just talking about me. But in all seriousness, though, Matt McLeod, our next signing, another player coming back to the Cyclones, one of the flashiest players we saw last season. And Macker, I know the fans are looking forward to it. I certainly am. Hopefully we have a lot more of those memorable moments to talk about the days after. But it'll all get started October 22nd. Cyclones on the road in Fort Wayne. And then October 29th, back here at the Rockin' Heritage Bank Center for first face-off. If you don't already have your tickets, go to cycloneshockey.com and get your seats for first face-off against Iowa on October the 29th. That's it for this edition of Mini Chirps. Again, Matt McLeod, our newest signing, Macker. Excited to have you back here, and we will see you before we know it for more Cyclones hockey.
All right. See you soon, Monster. Thanks.